In this video, I'm going to show how to replace the driver's side upper outer tie rod, the one that connects to the drag link on this Ram 2500. Let's get started. Let's remove the wheel. Use a 21mm socket and remove all 8 lug nuts and then pull the wheel off. Now I'm going to take a very brief and rough measurement from one end to the other, because when I undo this sleeve, obviously this will separate drag link from the tie rod, and I want to bring it back as close as possible. This doesn't control toe, but it does control how centered the steering wheel sits, and right now it is spot on, so I do have to adjust it after I get it back on, but at least if I measure the distance, it will get me close. So right now I'm at 40¼ inches from one tie rod stud to the drag link stud. So that's what I'm going to go by, 40¼ inches. Of course, the measurement will not be the same exact for you. Just keep in mind, whatever you measure, try to match it up. We need to break the jam nuts on the adjuster sleeve free. I sprayed it all down with rust penetrant, and somebody had welded this, so I had to cut that. And I'm going to use a pipe wrench. I don't have a wrench that fits this, or even an adjustable wrench. However, the pipe wrench does give me quite a bit of leverage. So I'm going to open this up right over the jam nut. Now these are reverse threaded, so I'm going to have to pull down in order to release this. Okay, there's one. Do the same to this one over here. Okay, use a 21mm socket, break free this mounting nut and remove it. I'm going to leave it on just a couple threads so that when I hit the knuckle here to release the tie rod, it doesn't fall down all the way, but rather gets caught by the nut, and then I can remove it. Use a large hammer and hit the knuckle. There we go. Now remove the mounting nut and pull the tie rod out. Now spin this until these two completely separate. Hopefully yours isn't very rusted. Mine is not, thankfully, so it does spin very easily. But if it is rusted, you will have to probably use a large wrench or some pliers. Oh. And there it is. I recommend applying some anti-seize on the threads here on both ends. This will allow the threads not to seize up onto the drag link or the tie rod in the future. It'll help with alignment. You don't need a lot, and you don't need to go all the way in, because if you just apply it to the outer portion of the threads here, as you thread this on, it'll push itself in. On the end of this tie rod, I put some anti-seize on the threads, and I'm going to install this mounting nut. This will also work that anti-seize into the threads as I thread it in. I do need to bring it quite far down so that I have room for that sleeve to go on as I spin it. I'm going to try to match where the old mounting nut was, but the fact that I didn't remove the mounting nut off of the drag link makes it so that I can get very close, and of course I have my measurement as well. Okay, let's line these up. I'm going to start the sleeve on here just to make sure it's actually going to catch on the threads. Oh, if you have it backwards, it won't start. Stick this over and just start tightening it up. The fact that these are going in simultaneously is important. You want these clocked so that they can be in sync. You don't want one all the way in and the other one barely in. And this did not move, so I'm going to use this as my reference as for when to stop turning this. That should get me close to my 40¼ inch measurement. All right, that's it right there. I'm going to bring this jam nut closer. Grab your tie rod and slide it right into the knuckle. And put the new mounting nut on. All right, let's bottom this out. The torque on this mounting nut is 44 foot-pounds and 105 degrees additionally after that 44 foot-pounds. 105 degrees is just a little bit over a quarter turn being 90 degrees. So if you don't have a way to read degrees, such as a digital torque wrench or an angle meter, just do your best, give it a quarter turn. With a breaker bar, you should be good to go. Still a 21 millimeter socket on this. If your stud is spinning with the mounting nut, you're going to have to use a 10 millimeter to hold or spin the stud, and a 21 millimeter wrench to, well, either hold or spin the mounting nut, depending on how you want to do this. I have a ratchet and a wrench, so I'm going to use the ratchet as a ratchet and spin the stud up while holding the mounting nut with my wrench. Oh, that just bottomed out. All right, now let's torque it to 44 foot-pounds. That's 44, and now 105 degrees. And that's it right there. Once you're happy with your adjustment of the sleeve, it's time to lock in the jam nuts. I made my measurement and I went from the tie rod end to this drag link stud, and I got it at 40 1/4, just like it was before. So it's time to snug these up. I'm gonna do it with my pipe wrench, same one I used before. That's tight. Okay. And now I'm actually going to push this down. That way the ends on the pitman arm side and on the tie rod side sit nice and flat and not at an angle. Install all 8 lug nuts, bottom them out in a cross pattern, and also in a cross pattern we're going to torque these front wheels to 135 foot-pounds. Once again, 135 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Double check it. Job is done. Take it for a road test. And don't forget to get an alignment.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.